Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Shungar, and as you can see, I'm going into the parable about the talents, right? Now, the parable of the talents, it is a simple topic, right? That, a lot of brothers, really don't go back into once they read it. But it's very important, especially in the times that we in now, right? Because once you learn this truth, you want to be diligent, you want to be disciplined and add upon the talents you already received from the Most High and make more, right? As we're going to read in Matthew chapter 25, right? So to everybody is given a certain level, a certain measure of faith. Certain brothers may be good at, a lot of different things, right? Or they might be good speakers and being able to understand scriptures very well and break it down to other people and convey that, convey their understanding unto somebody else. Whereas another brother might just have a very good level of understanding or a very good level of knowledge, but may lack in another area. But it's okay, because as you're going to read, the Most High gave you these talents based on your ability that He wanted you to have. You see what I'm saying? So whatever it is, whatever your measure of faith is, you want to add upon it, be a diligent and faithful and good servant, add upon your talent and double it up, whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you might not be a great speaker, but as long as you keep trying to be diligent and disciplined, you might actually become a great speaker, but it takes time, right? So let's read it. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man travailing into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. Right? Verse 15. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. So like I just said, right? The Most High gives you talents based on your ability, based on the ability that He has given you, He may given certain brothers that have the ability to discern spirits, right? He may give one brother, we all should have the spirit of prophecy, because that's the spirit of Yahweh Shai, but who can really go into these prophecies and really break it down. And Slocky, I'm at work right now. But yeah, so one person that can really go into it and really dissect these joints, man. You see what I'm saying? And actually convey these good messages, right, to somebody else. Matthew 25, verse 16. Then he that received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents. So the person that he gave 5 talents to, he doubled it up. He was diligent and disciplined and added more talents, the same amount back to himself, right, for the Most High. Right, so he got more knowledge, he got more wisdom, got more understanding. He became a better speaker. He more confident in himself when he's actually more confident in his faith and his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High, right, and these scriptures, to be able to go out there in the highways and byways and teach, right. Verse 17. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. So that other brother, right, that got 2 talents, he doubled up on his talents, man. And this is what's required, especially if you men in Israel, man. That's where that's been elected to go out and teach, and bid your brothers, your Akim and Akwathian, right, you brothers and sisters, to the marriage. So we're supposed, whatever measure of faith that was given to you, double it up and get your ass out there and teach. You feel me? Verse 17. And likewise, he that received 2 talents, he also gained another 2. Verse 18. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid the Lord's money. So there's one particular guy. What he did was, the Most High gave him a talent. He knows he's an Israelite, right? Got a couple breakdowns, know a little bit, basic milk scriptures, but he didn't really take the time to discipline himself, be diligent, right? Fear the Lord and actually do what's required of him and add more talents to himself, right? To learn more. Get more understanding, more knowledge and wisdom, of the scriptures, right? What he did was, he was cool with the level he was at, and he just buried it in the ground. He didn't want to feed the flock. He didn't want to go out there and teach. He didn't want to help his brothers and his sisters, man. This is that wicked servant, right, who was given 1 talent, right, and stayed at the same level his whole time in the truth until he fell out, until the Most High took that spirit from him. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that sister, man. Right? You want to constantly be adding unto the knowledge that was given to you. You want to constantly be increasing in something. whether it be in the scriptures, right? If you feel like your level of, knowledge of the scriptures is, at the same, excel in something else like history, or, you know what I mean? Or let your faith grow or something, you know what I mean? You have to be increasing in some way, shape, or form in this truth. You cannot stay at the same level, right? Verse 19. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them, right? So he came back. So the Lord came back. This is likened unto Yahushua coming back, trying to see what brothers, what we did, right? Were we good servants who, when the Lord came back, he found us doing, right? As it say in Matthew 24, right? I want to be that good servant. When my Lord comes back, I want him to find me doing what I'm supposed to do. Verse 20. And so he that had 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gave beside them 5 talents more. So he said, look, Lord, look what I did. You gave me this. Look what I did for you. I added more, right? I doubled up for you. Verse 21, his Lord saith unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. So this is just few. What we doing now is just it's on a small scale. The Most High is saying, and the Bible says, he that is faithful in little is faithful in much. You see what I'm saying? But if you're not even faithful with the little responsibility that you were given, right? How you gonna be responsible with ruling a kingdom, man? Right? Because that's what we in this for. The rulership, scepters, and thrones, right? So you got to be faithful and diligent in this now, right? If you want to rule in the kingdom. Verse 22. I'm going to finish 21. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained two other talents beside them. So the brother, 2 talents, he said, I doubled up. All praises, right? Verse 23, his Lord said, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. So this goes to show you right here. The Lord, right, in this particular parable, which is really Yahushua, right, said unto the 2 servants, one that had 5, right? So, and he doubled up, so he had 10. The other boy had 2, right? He doubled up, so he had 4. He said the same thing to both of them, right? So no matter if you was that brother, so this is for you brothers who should take solace in the fact that, okay, just because I'm not that top guy in Israel, you feel what I'm saying? Because Most High didn't bless me with, a supreme wisdom, knowledge, and understanding like a lot of these, top guys in Israel, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to get anything less. We're all working for the same penny. And that's another parable, right? We're all working for the same penny. And as long as you stay faithful, diligent, and disciplined, right, with the little and few things that you have been given, right, the Most High is going to say, good, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over few. I will make you ruler over many things. And that's what we in this for, man. And don't lose sight of it. Verse 23. Verse 24. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast thine, that is thine. Yo, this old English be killing me, man. All right, verse 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which had 10 talents. So this is the point right here, right? When you're being slothful, right, and you're not doing what the Most High commands you to do, and you're just sitting on the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has blessed you with, and not increasing upon it, not adding to it, the Most High will take that talent from you, right? Because with this servant, right, what he did by burying that talent in the ground, right, by sitting on his knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right, and not displaying it out there, on the highways and byways, and giving it to your people, bidding them to the marriage. what he did was become a slothful servant. And the Most High, he detests that. He doesn't take delight in that, man. So what he's going to do is take that talent from that slothful servant and give it to the brother who got 10, who was faithful with the 5 talents, man. Because he's been proven to be faithful with what little he had, man. Right? So that only makes sense. So for you brothers and you sisters too, man. Right? If you're not adding onto your knowledge, wisdom, understanding, adding to your talents, man, the Most High will take it from you and give it to somebody else. And that's something you don't want, man. Because essentially what the Most High is doing is taking that spirit from you, man. So, you know what I mean? It's more I could go into on that. But, probably has a little bit more meat on that one. Yeah, so it says, verse 29, for unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Right? And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right? So cast that unprofitable servant. You are unprofitable in this truth if you are not pushing this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you know, so out to the four corners of the earth. You don't know who gonna see it, right? You don't know who. If you make videos, you don't know who gonna watch, right? When you out there on the highways and byways, you don't know who you gonna meet, right? You don't know who the Lord gonna send your way, right? So make sure you're doing what the Lord tells you to do, or you're gonna be considered an unprofitable servant, and that what you already had, right, with the Most High, you know, was already, I mean, even though it was already predestined, right? But even though what he already had for you, he's just gonna take that and give it to somebody else, man, right? And that's something you don't want. I'm telling you. All right, let me grab these precepts, man. So let me grab these drinks. All right, so this is why we gotta stay diligent, brothers and sisters, man. We gotta definitely stay diligent, man. Right. So essentially, you want to do what the Most High commands you to do, right? If He tells you to go out there in the highways and byways and bid people to bid your brothers and sisters to the marriage, then by damn it, you better go out there and do it, right? So you got to do the things that's commanded of you. Now I'm going to give you an example, right? Based on biblical history, where you had a good servant and you had a wicked servant, right? And I was looking and see what the Most High did to the wicked servant, and look and see what the Most High did to the faithful servant, right? When you do what the Most High tells you to do what's commanded of you, right? So we're going to get 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3, right? 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. So this is talking about King Saul, essentially, right? King Saul was commanded to go ahead and destroy the Amalekites. Don't take anything that they got, destroy everything. I mean everything, down to the cattle, right? Now let's see what King Saul did, right? First we're going to get where King Saul was actually commanded, right? So 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they had, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So basically the Most High is telling telling Saul, King Saul, right, to go ahead and destroy the Amalekites based on, you know, what they had did to us when we was coming out of the land of Egypt, right? That's payback. Right? So now you see the Most High gave him an order, right? Now let's see what King Saul decided to do, right? But Saul, so this is crazy. You hear something from the Most High, a direct order, right? And you choose to do otherwise. All right. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 9. But Saul and the people spared Agag, right? Right. That's strike one. He spared Agag. The Most High told him don't spare nobody, right? Down to the cattle. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and the best of the and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and of the lambs, and all that was good, right? And would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refused, that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, it repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, right? So this is how the Most High feels when He brings you into this truth, gives you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and then you become a wicked and slothful servant, man. It repenteth the Most High, right? So that he even brought you in this thing, man. You know, you don't want to be that type of servant, right? Whether you're a brother, whether you're a sister, it don't matter. You don't want to be. Once the Most High is giving you this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, you now have a responsibility to go out there and teach your people, right? Bid your brothers and sisters to the marriage. And of course, I'm talking to you brothers, man. Right? So you don't want to, when the Most High gives you specific orders, do what he tells you to do. Right? So I'm going to keep reading. It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned his back from following me and have not performed my commandments. Is it not a commandment to go out in the highways and byways and teach, to feed the flock, man? Right? And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night, because Saul didn't do what he was commanded to do. Now, I showed you where Saul, what he was commanded to do, and I showed you what he actually did, right? In 1 Samuel, right? All in the same chapter. Now, all right? King David was made a ruler, and the Lord blessed him and his offspring, right? That his offspring was going to have a kingdom that shall never fail, right? Right? And of course, this is talking about Yahushua, and you know, if you got the breakdown, Yahushua, which was King Solomon in the past, you know, through reincarnation, you know. So let me, so I'm gonna show you how King Saul was, so like King David was actually a righteous, you know, he was a righteous servant. Everybody knows this, right? You got some type of sense about you, got some knowledge, wisdom, understanding. The scriptures say that King David was a man after God's own heart, right? So I'm gonna show you how, you know, after King Saul died, right? And that was the end of King Saul too. He died, right? After King Saul died, right, his son Ishbosheth took up his throne, right? You know, Judah followed David, right? And there was a war. There was a war in Israel, like a civil war, right? Now, there was a man. I'm gonna get into it with Agar and everything, but first let me read this. 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. Now, there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. So this is to show you, right? When you with the Most High, when you doing what he tells you to do, doing what's commanded of you, the Most High is going to make you stronger and stronger. He's going to keep on increasing you, right? Increasing that spirit that you have, right? And he's going to make you stronger in the spirit, more in knowledge, increase you in knowledge, increase you in wisdom, right? But when you're being that wicked servant, not following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, not doing what he tells you to do, you're going to wax weaker and weaker, man. You're going to be like, damn, I used to know this. Damn, I should know these. What's going on? You know, you're going to start to notice that you're weaker and weaker. Instead, where when you actually being diligent, you're doing the work, you're congregating with brothers, you're studying, you're going to be like, damn, I came a long way. You know, I'm actually increasing in this truth. Damn, man, my spirit is much stronger than what it used to be. You're going to start to have those things, man, those little epiphanies like, shit, all praises to the Most High. Well, let me stay humble and let me keep doing what I'm supposed to do so I can keep on waxing stronger and stronger, right? Like the house of David, right? So yeah, man, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, when you're not doing what's commanded of you, just like it says in that in the parable of the talents, what's going to happen is the Most High is going to take your talent from you and give it unto the brother that's actually doing more with his talent, right? Now I'm gonna get a precept for that. Let's go to Psalms 109 and 8, right? So Psalms 109 and 8 says, let his days be few and let another take his office, right? So what's going to happen is what happened to King Saul. His days were few, right? And let another take his office. So I gave you the example of like a good servant and a wicked servant through history, right? Through our forefathers. It's a lot, man. When I make these videos, I got to make sure I put them on Do Not Disturb, right? So essentially, right, what this is saying is, just like how it said in the talents, right? The Most High took that office from King Saul and gave it to who? King David, right? So when like it says in Psalms, let me get it. Like it says in Psalms, let his days be few. All right, so like it says in Psalms, let his days be few and let another take his office, right? So what's happening is when you're not faithful, when you're not diligent and disciplined, right, and it's truth and doubling up your talents that the Most High gave you, he's going to let another man take your office, right? Let another person take your office, right? Because you aren't doing good with what was given to you, right? You're not adding upon it, not adding to your talents. And that's not a good thing, man. Being a slothful and wicked servant. And I showed you how through history, right? With King David, you had a good servant, you had a wicked servant with King Saul. King Saul, he waxed weaker and weaker. His house waxed weaker and weaker. King David's house waxed stronger and stronger, right? And so you want to be like King David, right? You know, being a good and faithful servant, right? He wasn't perfect, right? But he was a man after God's own heart, right? And that's what the Most High said, right? And he waxed stronger and stronger. So you want to constantly add upon those talents. You want to constantly increase in your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in this truth, man. And doing things for the Most High. So that way we can get the hell up out of here, right? Because that's what it's all about. So that way we can rule. Because the more of our people that we wake up, once we seal the elect of our people, right? What's going to happen? The Most High going to send his son back, Yahweh Shai. We're going to get up out of here. So that's what the name of the game is, right? So essentially, if you're not trying to push and further the truth, you want to stay here. Because if you didn't, you would do what you supposed to do, what's commanded of you, so that way we can leave, man. Right? And I'm going to just grab a couple precepts on being slothful, and then we're just going to end there, right? So Proverbs chapter 19, verse 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and idle soul shall hunger. Right, so you ever get them times where you're like, damn, I ain't been reading in a couple days. Your spirit actually starts to hurt. Like my spirit starts to hurt, you know? Like when I went through this period, you know, where I was like, you know, just feeling real low in the spirit sometimes. And that happens when you're not reading, man. You know? So you know, like you gotta constantly, get revved up. And it's important to constantly stay in the spirit. And how you do that? You congregate with brothers. You get strengthened up by them. You know what I mean? Or you read. You know, you make videos. You teach. Right? You might do a fast or something like that. And the Most High will increase your spirit, man. You know, pray for a more fervent spirit. Most High give it to you. Whatever you lack, man, ask the Most High for. You know, and He gonna give it to you. But you gotta believe. You gotta have faith, right? So it says right here. I'm gonna just break that. I'm gonna break that down for you, right? So it says, so basically it says, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep. How does slothful? Because when you being slothful in the truth, what is the Most High going to do? He's going to take your office and give it to another. He's going to take your talent and give it to another, right? So basically, essentially what that is he's taking his spirit, his Holy Spirit from you, right? And he's giving it to another. So you fall back into the world, man. And when you fall back into the world, like we say to those people, like we say to our brothers and our sisters when we out there on the highways and byways, y'all sleep, man. Y'all need to wake up to this truth. So you don't want to be a dead body, man. You don't want to be a zombie walking around here asleep, right? Because that's what's going to happen when you're being slothful and not increasing upon your talents, right? And an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So your soul is going to constantly be hungry. It's going to constantly hunger, right? And it's going to starve out. And then what happens when you starve after a certain amount of time with no food? You die, man, right? There's going to be no coming back for you. Let me get another one. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. By much slothfulness, the building decay, right? And through idleness of the hands, the house droppeth through, right? So when you got a house, right? When you got a house and you're being slothful, you see a leak in the ceiling, you know what I mean? The stove might be broken, the shower going bad. You got to get in there. You got to fix those things. You can't just keep putting them off because what's going to happen, right? You constantly, being slothful with the wood floors, right? Eventually, they're gonna crack through. Your foot might go through the floor, right? So that building is going to decay. So like this, right? This truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, this fire that you got, that spirit that you got inside of you, right? If you don't constantly build upon it, add upon it, give it the proper maintenance that it needs, what's going to happen, right? That building is going to decay and it's going to die. Like it's going to wither away, just like your spirit, man. And the Most High is going to take that thing from you. So you got to constantly feed that flame. You got to constantly splash that oil on the fire, right? So that fire that you got inside of you, got to constantly splash oil on that thing to rev it up, right? Because that's what it's all about. Staying in the spirit, staying diligent, staying diligent to the Most High, and doing what He commands us to do. Because that's what it's all about. That's the whole duty of man. And if you're not doing that, you're wasting your time. Because ain't nothing for us in Esau's kingdom, man. I was just talking to the brothers, man. Like, it's really boring in this kingdom. It's really nothing to do. Especially now in COVID. What are you living for? Right? If it ain't for the Most High. Proverbs 10 and 5. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son. He that sleepeth in the harvest is a son that causeth shame. Right? And that's clear and cut, man. That's clear and cut. Man, I don't want to make this too long. Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, giving thanks to the Father, to the Most High and the Father of Abraham. Right? So whatever you do, and if it's this truth, man, do it with all your might, man, all your strength. and make sure you stand diligent. Make sure you do what's commanded of you, right? And increase and add upon your talents, or else, like we just read in the scripts, it's going to be taken and given to somebody else. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatah, to you sincere brothers and you sincere sisters. Shalom.